everyone, welcome back to Not Your Average Glow Up. If you're new here, welcome. I'm happy to have you. My name is Sam. If you're not new here, you might have noticed the change of scenery. I'm currently sitting out in the field behind our house because it is a gorgeous sunny day. Got my sunblock on, got myself some tea, and some spicy chips because, you know, I don't know, there's an old fortune cookie that says the spicier the food, the better the lover. I don't know if that's true or not, but I do enjoy spicy food. But anyways, today I did a little bit of light gardening, and I was preparing. I got a bunch of packs of seeds of some flowers that I want to plant around the house, and I was trimming back some hedges and pulling out some weeds and, preparing for this spring. And it got me to thinking about humans and how we're similar to hedges. So this is going to be kind of a quick video. But today, in preparation for spring, I had to cut back some of my hedges around my house. And this is because they're hedges that, they're all kind of close together. They get overgrown, they get pretty big, and they all have their own unique blossoms and blooms. They're all slightly different from one another. And if I don't trim them back, then they can't reach their full potential because they grow into one another and they inhibit each other's growth. And you can't see the full impact of their bloom. So every year towards the end of winter, the very beginning of spring, when it starts to warm up, but it's not quite full spring yet, I always trim back my hedges. So that way, when spring gets here, they bloom, and they bloom incredibly. And people are kind of the same way. That's kind of where I'm at in life. I'm in this transitional phase where I can feel a blessing coming. It's like right under the surface. It's this like dull but always present buzzing in my spiritual ear. Life isn't necessarily bad, but life isn't necessarily all that exciting right now. But there's this small hum of excitement forever present because, like, I know that there's a blessing right around the corner. I can't exactly put my finger on it, but it's just this inner knowing. And it's very exciting. But because there's a small blessing right around the corner, Spirit is having to do a little bit of, I guess you could say, emotional and mental grooming on me. Sometimes as gardeners, we know what's best for our plants. But the outside world, from an outside perspective, it might seem almost like we're harming the plant. If you see somebody trim back some hedges in the winter or the beginning of the spring, you might be like, oh my God, what are they doing? They're destroying that beautiful bush. But we know as gardeners that when you trim it back, it just comes back even more sturdy, even more bountiful, even more beautifully. I recently have been trying to propagate like everything. I'm a little bit of a plant nerd. I'm not a plant expert by any means. I have killed just as many plants as I have successfully kept alive. But I have quite a few houseplants, and I've recently got into, whenever I go to the farmer's market and get fresh produce that, is free of pesticides and just like good organic produce, I keep the seeds and I try to, make new plants from them. So I've been trying to do this with avocados lately, and every time I start them in a napkin and they get roots and then they start to get a little stump, and then when they start to get a little stump, I put them in like a little bottle and then just let the bottom of the seed and the root sit in the water, and then they'll get like a little tiny itty bitty adorable little tree. and it'll get leaves and it'll look so cute, and then I'll get so excited and be like, yay, okay, it's got leaves, it's a little tree now, I can plant it in dirt. And I do that, and then it dies, and I'm like, what the heck am I doing wrong? And I recently learned that when it turns into this tiny itty bitty little tree and it gets its little leaves and it looks like a plant, you're actually supposed to chop it. And I'm like, what? That's absurd. It's like, why would you just chop away all of its hard work? But I learned that it's because the plant is using too much energy to make these leaves and to keep them. So you need to chop it so it can conserve its energies to make the roots and the trunk sturdier. See, the plant needs a strong foundation for it to have a bountiful harvest. And we as people are the same way. So sometimes the universe has to cut away at what no longer serves us. Sometimes the universe has to come in with a little bit of tough love and take away some friendships that no longer serve us or that have become toxic. Have you move away from certain people, might have you take a job from you, and it seems like, God, why would you do that? I don't have the money. I need that job to pay my bills. But what you don't see is the new job that God has prepared for you that's right around the corner. Sometimes God has to take away things that are like unhealthy coping mechanisms that we have adapted over time through hardship or abuse or whatever. And even though it's things that we know that we need to, work on, like character flaws or what have you, the process is painful. Because when you're cutting away at something, it's almost never easy. It's almost never painless. Some things, like small little limbs, can easily be broken away with just the snap of the fingers, while others, they take, shears, they take, even a saw. Some things we want to hold on to. But God, the universe, spirit, has a better plan, and they know the beautiful, bountiful harvest. They know what you look like at your full potential when you're fully in bloom. So they cut away at what no longer serves us as an act of kindness, but it's painful, and that's where I'm at in life. And I think a lot of people can relate. So I want to pull some cards for you. I'm in a planty kind of mood, so I want to use the Botanical Inspirations Oracle deck, and it comes with a little booklet. I do not use this one very often, so I might have to reference the booklet, not even gonna lie. And then I also have the Wild Medicine, which is another plant-based deck. But I want to see, what do the people at home, what is spirit trying to cut away from them? What do they need to release? What is their spiritual hedge trimming entail? What messages do you have for people at home, spirit? Okay. Pink rose, grace and sweetness, the pursuit of perfection. Then it is the pursuit of sweetness and light. Okay. Iris, rainbows and messages. When it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. And then crocus, cheerfulness. It's spring again. The earth is like a child that knows poems by heart. That's funny because I was just talking about that. And that one's actually in reverse. Grace and sweetness, the pursuit of perfection. Okay, so the pink rose card talks about sweetness and perfection. And something about roses is they smell so damn sweet. They're so inviting. We think of them a lot in terms of romance. They're probably the most common flower that a spouse gives their significant other. But roses have their thorns. So maybe you need, at home, you need to release some thorns that's been embedded from past love. Maybe there's a lover that you've been holding on to because of the nostalgia and those bittersweet memories. But there's a message here that you need to extract the thorn, that little sharp sting, and it's a bittersweet sting. I'm having to do this right now, so I can completely relate. The iris talks about when it rains, look for rainbows. When it's dark, look for stars. I absolutely love that. Maybe you've been in a place of pessimism here recently, where you have been holding on to the darkness and the rain. And those feelings, we need to lean into them. We need to lean into those bad feelings and those hard times, because if we avoid them, then we don't grow. It's the whole seek discomfort motto. Sometimes you have to lean into that discomfort to grow, but then you have to find your center again. After seeking discomfort, after leaning into your fears, those hurts, those habits, those hang-ups, and confronting them head on, you have to re-find your center. You have to bring yourself back to who you are, rebalance, meditate, and find your inner peace again. And then this one talks about perfectionism. So if you are a perfectionist, hang that shit up. Life isn't perfect. You aren't perfect. You're not created to be perfect. That would be completely and totally and utterly boring. The imperfections in people are what make them so damn beautiful. So learn to appreciate your flaws, because honey, flaws just make you that much more perfect. That's that message. I want to ask Spirit real quickly, what medicine, spiritual medicine, do they have for you to help you get through this spiritual cutting away of what no longer serves you? What medicine do you have for everyone watching? What lessons can they bring? Skull cap. Branching plant that grows up to 3 feet with stands, lines, opposite pair, square flowers, strictly natively used to stimulate menstruation, to help expel after childbirth. It's a calming plant. Okay. See, I don't use these plants very often. I usually use them when asking Spirit like what teas to make. That's pretty much the only time I use this. Okay. So you need to find your center. This is a plant that is commonly used to calm your nerves. It helps with menstrual cramps, what have you. But the message that I'm getting from this card is that you need to practice a little self-care. If you're anxious about what's going on in life, maybe you're anxious about the cutting away, you need to re-find your center and just take a breather, honey. This one's also used for menstrual issues. Maybe somebody's on their period and they need to just take better care of their, oh, look at that one. I'm going to follow. Ooh, willow. Willow trees are my favorite trees. Yeah, these are all relating to pain and relaxation. So I'm really getting the message here that you need to practice a little self-care. You need to sit back, drink some tea, draw a nice warm bath, maybe get a massage. If you're noticing physical symptoms of your stress, maybe tension in your shoulders or a tightness in your jaw, those physical symptoms are a manifestation of an emotional, it's a physical response to an emotional issue. So you need to figure out what is causing the stress, let that shit go, give it over to God, and then practice a little self-care, because you are totally and wonderfully worth it. So I just want to say thank you for coming today. Thank you for letting me sit outside and soak up a little sunshine. And I hope you're having a wonderful, amazing day. Remember to trust the process and let spirit cut away at what no longer serves you, because baby, you're about to be in bloom. And that is a beautiful, amazing place to be. I love you.